Hello, hello. So today we're going to be talking about how to handle the weekends while on a diet and why I wanted to touch on this topic. I think it is because, especially for those of you who are on a journey for quite a while, it can become quite um, it can become quite challenging to handle events, personal events, family events, events with friends, and just the feeling that you're living quote unquote a normal life. People outside of this program and people that are not on a health and fitness journey working towards a goal, they don't get it. Their normal life is to go on the weekends with the YOLO mentality, with the you only live once mentality. And they live a life where they're not happy about during the week. And then on the weekends, they use the weekends to escape from it in all sorts of shape or form. So they will binge drink, binge eat, binge watch Netflix, and do all sorts of things to numb really what they're going through during the week. We have like I know that we want to relax a bit and we all deserve to do so. Come on, like we work so hard, we need to also enjoy and relax. What I want to propose here today is to shift a little bit of the perspective of what it really means to enjoy your weekend. And do you really feel that there's only one way to go about this? There's only one way to enjoy and have fun. And if you go the other way, you're missing out. Are you sure that that's the case? So what I'm proposing here is really a shift in mentality, a shift in mindset, and that will help you implement the strategies that I'm suggesting here. Because until until you don't change your perspective, until you don't change your mentality, it's going to be really hard to stick to a lifestyle. Another thing that I wanted to touch on here is the fact that to get to where you want, most of you will require different phases. And this is something that it doesn't get talked about a lot in social media because it's not sexy. It's not sexy to talk about how many years it's going to take. People are only interested in the 12-week transformations, right? People are only interested in the quick fixes. People are only interested in how fast they can get the results and how fast they can get out of pain, instead of how can I make this last for longer? How can I make this shift and really create a lifestyle that I don't have the need to escape from it? And this is not sexy. This doesn't sell on social media, so nobody gets to talk about this, right? They're only talking about the quick fixes and the quick fat loss and the go hard and just for a short period of time, and then screw you, right? You don't know what to do. And then you have this ingrained belief that while you're on a diet, you're either eating out of a Tupperware and eating just chicken and broccoli or rice 6 times a day, or you're not, right? And if you try to do this during the week, you're gonna get bored pretty easily, right? If your diet is extremely restrictive during the week, it's gonna be really hard for you to not want to escape from it on the weekends. So there's got to be some sort of middle ground there. I don't want to even say balance, because balance looks different depending on the phase that you're in. When I was prepping for a photo shoot, when I was prepping for my fitness competition, yes, I had some sort of flexibility, but I also I knew that I needed to restrict myself, and that wasn't with a bad connotation. It wasn't just what was required to get to the goal that I needed, that I wanted to get to. And I knew it wasn't forever. So understanding the phase that you're in also helps you to do what needs to be done in that phase, in that season. When you're on a fat loss journey specifically, I wanted to get out of it as quickly as possible, because being on fat loss, you will feel hungrier, and it is your caloric budget will be way lower, way smaller than if you compare with someone in a muscle building phase where they're eating on a surplus of calories and they have a tons of calories to play with. So totally different scenarios, and balance might look different. You might need to say no to certain things that that person who is in the muscle building phase might not need to say no. And coming back to my example again, like we go through phases. The phase that I'm in right now is the maintenance phase. So it's like the cruise control phase. I'm not trying to actively lose fat, and I'm not trying to actively build muscle. I'm maintaining. So I'm eating closely to the same amount of calories that I burn. So I do have a little bit more wiggle room to have more meals out, for example. But once I'm in a fat loss, I shift that switch in my brain, and I automatically start making different choices, and I automatically start cutting back on certain things that I know are or might get in the way of the goal that I want to achieve. And when I'm in fat loss, I want to get in and get out and go into the next phase, because those are the best phases to be in. But that doesn't mean that while on fat loss, you can't be flexible. What I'm trying to propose here is that there's no, you can't, like, you're not going to reach your goals if you're totally, absolutely flexible, or that no food restrictions whatsoever. You're going to have to restrict. The whole concept of losing fat is you eating less than your body needs. So your body taps into the fat storage and utilizes your fat storage as a source of fuel, as an energy source, because there's not enough food coming in. That's the whole concept of it. So there's no way to lose fat without a certain level of restriction, and how you go about it and how you do it, that depends on the person. But what I've seen so far with most of my clients is we start with implementing the structure of a meal plan. We start implementing, because most of you are just, you're overeating, but you're not necessarily overeating on bad things. But you don't even realize that you overeat because things are very spread out and all over the place. So we first set the structure, set the routine, set the foundation, and then we start using some flexibility. So to get to where I am right now, where I get to be a little bit more flexible, and I do this in a very easy way. I want to say I maintain my body shape very, very easily throughout the year. It required a certain level of restriction for a little bit of time. It required saying no to things and changing my mindset on what saying no really means, right? Because the moment you start saying no, let's say to alcohol, people start questioning. Oh, you're no fun. Oh, just a little bit. Oh, you deserve it, girl. Oh, just one drink. Come on, live a little. Like, the minute you start saying no to certain things, right? Like, so you have to also shift your mindset and put your blinders on and decide what you want for yourself, and decide that you're not going to let other people, you're not going to let, you're not going to give more importance to other people's opinion of you than your own opinion, than your own certainty of where you want to be. And that requires that level of shift in mindset and shift in identity. Because if you're someone who identifies as being a drinker, as being a, I can't remember another word that would reflect the same. But if you're someone who identifies as being that person, then it might be difficult for you to change from that. But the minute you're like, okay, I have a goal. Okay, this is what's required. Okay, I can do this. What my future self, and then comes in your future self. What does your future self, how does she show up? What does she do? How does she say things to others? How does she say things to herself? And start acting in alignment with your future self, with that girl, with that person. What would she do now? right? Because to achieve a goal that you've never achieved before, it will require you to become someone that you've never been before, to let go of what you believed you were up until this point. And I know this sounds way too woo-woo and way too deep for someone who just wants to talk about handling the weekends. But if you don't have that layer of foundation, if you don't have that understanding prior, it's going to be really hard for you to implement these strategies, because you're going to be faced with challenges all the time. You're going to be faced with people challenging you all the time. And I dare to say that even when you get to your goal, there's got to be people that are going to look at you and be like, oh, what did you do? And like diminish and belittle what you've accomplished. But just know that it isn't about you, it's about them. It's about them being reminded by you that they can't do the same. They would want to, but they can't, because they're limiting themselves. And we're going way off topic here. But it matters to talk about these things, because that's on the weekends, that's when those things come to surface, because that's when you get off of your regular routine for a bit and you meet with other people, you go out for drinks, you go out for a nice restaurant, for a nice dinner, for a brunch, whatever. And you want to continue being friends with those people, and you want to continue participating in the same things. But now you have a goal, and now you want to act differently. And how do you do that? You show up as your future self, and you set boundaries, and you don't owe anyone any explanation of what you do. You don't owe anyone any explanation of what you do and why you do it, right? So if all of a sudden you decide that you no longer want to drink, and I'm giving the drinking example just because it's the one that pops up more often, and that I feel that people are weird these days. Like if you don't drink, you're weird, but if you drink, you're normal. But if you decide that you no longer want to drink, or that you're not drinking as much as before, or that you want to do, let's say, October clean or sober October, whatever, you don't have to explain yourself. You just say no, and no, I'm not in the mood. No, I don't want to. That's it, right? Own your decisions, and you don't owe anyone any explanation. And just know that if you need something, if you need alcohol, if you need to eat what other people are eating, if you need to, if they can't accept that you can make the changes for yourself, and you can, if you have to have something to rely on to be quote unquote accepted in the group, that's going to be really tough, right? That's going to be really tough. People, ideally, people would like you for you and who you are, without anything else to rely on, right? But coming back on topic and how to handle all that, now that we've touched on the mindset parts of things, now the strategies and the tactics and the how-tos, right? Because that's what you're interested in learning more. And I feel like a lot of you are sabotaging yourselves on the weekends, and your weekends start on Thursday. So here, I did this, so weekend counts, 4 weekends a month, 8 days of the month, if we're only counting Saturday to Sunday, and that's 30%, almost 30% of your month. It's a lot. But most people start falling off track on Friday or even Thursday. Like your weekends start on Thursday. So it's even more. So pretty much 40% of the week, 40% of the month, you're not on track. So, and you don't even realize that. You don't even realize that, and you're sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging your own results, and you're just delaying your results. Because how do you put your blinders on and decided, no, this is what I'm going to do for me, and I'm going to go all in, no matter what. There's no plan B. I'm going to do this. Had you decided to do that, then you'd have probably already had achieved your goal. right? Or be really, really on track. So a lot of you guys that are not on track with your goals, I know that there are a lot of exceptions about this. And I've talked to each one of you individually. So please don't take offense in anything that I say. But most of the times, you're sabotaging your results because you're placing too much importance on other people, right? On other external events. Oh, I don't know how to handle this. So you don't, instead of learning how to do it. Okay. And like I said, it's like 30% of your month if we're only accounting for Saturday and Sunday. If we account for Thursday and Friday, that's even more. And if you decide that you're going to go YOLO every single weekend because you deserve it, then you absolutely can offset the hard work that you did during the week. Okay. So when I say that one bad meal will not ruin your results, or one weekend will not offset 6 months worth of your progress, it is true. But if you're going off the rails every single weekend, then you're absolutely just sabotaging your own results. And it's going to be really hard for you to get there. So now the question is how can you do it? How exactly to enjoy the weekends, continue to have fun, because that's what we want to, right? Like, we don't want to be a robot. We want to be able to enjoy the weekends. And how can we do it in a way that is aligned with our goals? And the first thing, and I can't repeat myself enough, is planning ahead. Simple. Plan ahead. Look at your calendar, see what you're going to do. What are the plans? What is your husband's plans if you have a husband? What is your family plans? Like, what are you planning to do this weekend? You probably have an idea. Probably, right? Most of us have an idea or are looking forward for our weekend's plans. So that's easier. Get that out, like get pen and paper. What am I planning to do this weekend? Then you can start looking into, okay, what are the meals that I'm not going to have full control of? Then it's easier. Then we're getting more clear, gaining a little bit more clarity on what needs to be addressed and when, right? And like I said, sometimes you will need to say no to certain things. So if you are on a fat loss phase, like, you can't have a bucket of fried chicken followed by a milkshake and I don't even know what. Like, that's 3,000 calories right there. And that's going to take you out of your deficit, right? So like, there's certain things that like you just can't do. But you can still eat out if you want to, right? You can still eat out, especially if you follow this. Like, keep your weekend routines as similar as possible to your weekday routines. And this was key for my own transformation, and not only the body transformation, but the mindset transformation, because I was falling into that trap years and years and years ago. Oh my gosh, so many years ago, I was falling into that trap of doing really good during the week, like doing really good, going hard in the gym and following the diet. Then on the weekend, weekend came and we went all in. And at that time, Caesar wasn't my husband yet. He was my boyfriend. So he would go to my house and we would eat a lot. And we would go out and eat a lot. And like, and every Monday I would wake up with that feeling of feeling lethargic, feeling like I was already behind and it was just Monday and I was feeling tired. And the cycle was like, okay, so I keep crushing the week, and then on the weekends I can't, like, what if, and I started with curiosity, what if instead of going all in, I follow my plan during the weekend until the point that Caesar gets home with food, for example. And I tested that and it worked way better, because then I didn't even have the desire to eat and drink as much as I was used to. But it started with my curiosity to see what would the result be? How would I feel on Monday? And then on the following Monday, after doing that, I felt amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so light. I'm not bloated. I'm not yucky. I'm not lethargic. I'm going to do this again. And then I started slowly creating the habit of having my weekends very, very similar to my weekdays. And I'm like, oh, this works way better because I was feeling better. And I didn't have that feeling of trying to catch up the damage from the weekend, right? Now, granted, it's not going to be perfect, right? It's not going to be perfect, but we want, like, if you're on a 6-month plan and you have 24 weeks, you have 24 weekends, right? To plan around this. If one weekend is not totally, like, you can't totally control and things fall off rails, sure, fine. It's one weekend out of 24. But if you're like falling off track every single weekend, then it's going to be really hard, right? If you fall off track every one weekend off of every month for 6 months, that's 6 weekends. That's a lot, right? And when I mean fall off track, I mean you're completely binge drinking, binge eating, not moving your body. You're not doing anything. Now, if you plan ahead and you incorporate as many of the routines that you do during the weekday on the weekends, it's going to be much easier for you to just follow and keep doing what you're doing, right? Also, in the planning category, look up the restaurant's menu ahead of time and make your choices ahead of time. Go into the restaurant knowing already what you're going to eat, right? And always, like, try to ask the server for them to not add any oils or butter, and don't drink your calories. Like, if you're on a fat loss phase, it can make a difference. So choose 0-calorie drinks, even if it is just for that period of time. Like, choose 0-calorie drinks. Choose better options, leaner protein options, instead of a bowl of what's the name of the salad? Cobb salad. Cobb salad has more calories than a burger because it has yes, lots of healthy foods, but healthy foods from fats, lots of fats. So that will add up very quickly in the amount of calories that you're eating. So be curious and look up the menu online, look up the calories online, look at your meal plan and see how that would play, how that would fit into the budget that you already have in your meal plan, right? So that's number one. And then number two is movement. Start your day with movement, and it doesn't need to be your workout routine. Some people in the group, they love to do, because I don't care when you do the workouts. I just like, as long as you do them, right? So I will pre-schedule them in your calendar, but you have the ability to move things around according to your own schedule. So don't be fixated about the days that I set up for you. And some people prefer to do their workouts on the weekends because they have more time to spend in the gym. Totally fine, but you don't have to necessarily do that. You can just focus on being active. You can go in and do half an hour of a cardio machine. You can go out for a walk outside with your family. You can play with your kids. You can go swim. You can do some sports. You can go for a hike. Do something. Just move your body, especially if you do that in the morning. It sets the tone for the rest of the day. Even if you do just like a mobility session or something like that in the morning, just to get the blood flowing, just to get you going, that sets the tone physically and mentally for the rest of the day. So you felt like you did something for you. Now you feel like you want to drink more water. Now you feel like you want to have a better option for breakfast. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm pretty much doing the same that I do on the weekend, on the weekdays, right? And then with the movement, I forgot to mention here, water. Start your day with water. So on the weekends, keep at least these 2 rules: movement in the morning and water. Start your day with water, because that will help you your body to stay hydrated. And when you're hydrated, you're less hungry, you have less cravings, you feel better, your digestion is better, and it just snowballs into you feeling better all throughout the weekend. And then even if you go for a dinner out in the evening, you're going to make better choices, especially if you do the trick of focusing on leaner protein sources and tons of veggies throughout the day. so you have a little bit of more of a wiggle room in the evening for carbs and fats. Eating out is fun. We love that. You can do that, but just you have to be smart about it. Okay, you just have to be smart about how you order things. Yeah, so movement and leaner protein options. And now the third, alcohol. I drink alcohol. Okay, I do drink alcohol. Well, I want to say that I only drink wine, wine, prosecco, champagne. I don't drink beer. I don't like the taste, and I don't drink clear liquor either. So, like, I've done that way too much in my early 20s, so that brings back memories. I don't enjoy it, and because I don't feel good. I don't feel well with it, but I do it like. Even my wine or my prosecco, I'll do it very, very sporadically. I'll choose the situations, the occasions that I want to drink alcohol. There's a podcast episode from Dr. Andrew Huberman. Andrew Huberman is a researcher, a professor researcher from Stanford University. And he did a very thorough episode on alcohol and its effects on the human brain cells, and the cognitive, see, that's the alcohol, effects of alcohol on your body. And even small doses, like even a little bit of alcohol very frequently, can impair certain aspect of your brain. And when it comes to fat loss, it is perceived by the body as a toxin. Okay, so the body wants to get rid of it as quickly as possible and process it as quickly as possible. So it will basically stop metabolizing everything else to deal with the alcohol that you put into your body. So, and plus it's got calories. It has calories, about 7 calories per gram, and it will be conducive to you being more open to eating more, right? Because when you're a little bit tipsy, you end up snacking a lot more, right? You end up being more open to drinking more, to eating more, and that can take you off the plan that you had for yourself. You can still drink, you can enjoy a glass of wine, you can still have your clear spirits if you like those kinds of drinks with diet soda, for example, because that will be on the lower calorie range. But negotiate with yourself what's your limit for that occasion, right? Limit yourself before you leave home. Limit yourself somehow. Okay, I'm gonna have 1 glass of wine tonight. That's it. Drink water, drink wine, drink water, drink wine, and savor it. That's it. That's all you're gonna do. Or 2 glasses, but set a limit for yourself before you leave home, so you get there, you know how many drinks you're gonna have, if you're going to drink. And this is something that I do very, very often, because not every occasion is a special occasion. So I don't drink on every occasion that we get together with friends. I literally just drink on occasions that I think it's worth it for me to enjoy a meal with a glass of wine, with a glass of prosecco. So I'll pick and choose the situations and the occasions, and that makes it more special for me, because nothing is really, really special if you're always doing it, right? At least that's my opinion on it. And even though I do that, and sometimes I'll choose to not drink at all, and I'll go for sparkling water with lime, or just a Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. That's it. Also, beer is a poor choice. Sorry for the beer lovers, but beer is a very poor choice in terms of drink options. It's got way more calories than a glass of wine, or way more calories than other drinks. What you can do to kind of offset it is to go for light beers. I'm not a fan of beer, so I don't even know the difference, but I know that it can go that route, and some people do. And that can help a little bit offset the the consequences or the effects of alcohol on your body or of that drink on your body. I myself, Andrea, I personally choose to not drink while I'm on fat loss. So I'll have those occasional drinks when I'm on maintenance, but when I'm focused on losing fat, I won't drink, just because I don't think it, for me personally, for me, it's not worth the calories. I would rather have a slice of a dessert or something like that. See, you're making trade-offs, right? Like, can you have both? Maybe, but most of the time you can't, because your caloric budget, if you're on fat loss, it's a little bit lower, right? So you get to choose. And myself personally, I would choose this glass of dessert as opposed to the glass of wine. But I have friends that prefer to do the opposite. So as long as you're consciously making the decision, that's what matters most. Also, don't let one bad meal turn into a whole weekend. Okay, so if you made a choice that you knew it was poor and you kind of regret it now, don't say screw it and I'll start it over on Monday. You can always go back. You always have a choice. You can always go back on track on the next meal, on the next opportunity, on the next glass of water that you're drinking. You always have a choice. You can always get back on track on the next meal. You're always one decision away from getting back on track. So please, I'm saying all this, I'm talking about all this. I'm not expecting you guys to be perfect. There will be bumps on the road. There will be weekends where things fall off track. But as long as you have in mind that you can always go back on track right away on the same day, you don't have to wait on Monday. You don't have to wait, for you to get back on track for things to be perfect. No. Go back now. You can always have the choice. Even if you're in a situation where you don't have control over the meals that are being served, you can always control the amount that you eat and what you choose to eat. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. And you can always go back on track on the next meal. So if you've had a bad meal, quote unquote bad meal, okay guys, let's not demonize those kinds of meals or foods. But if you had a meal that you knew that, oh damn it, I shouldn't have done that, next one, make a better option. Choose a leaner protein source, go for a salad, go back to your meal plan, drink tons of water. That's it. Just go back as quickly as you can, and that's it. Okay, you always have a choice. Now with nutrition, to recap, leaner protein and veggies. Leaner protein, what is leaner protein? Lean protein sources are protein sources that are not high in fat, okay? So we're gonna see non-fat Greek yogurt, whey protein, or any kind of protein powder, chicken breast, shrimp, leaner cuts of beef, tilapia, tuna, leaner turkey breast, also egg whites. So those are lean protein sources, and you can mix and match them. One of the things that I like to do on the weekends, if I know that I'm going to go out for to eat, is like a egg white omelet with lots of tuna and lots of veggies, like mix and match all the veggies that I have in my fridge with tuna and egg whites, and I'll make that scramble. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look Instagrammable. I don't care. It tastes really good because I season it really well with salt and pepper. Sometimes I put onion with it as well, so it tastes yummy. And that fills me up for hours and hours and hours and hours, because lots of protein, lots of fiber fills you up for lots of hours. Then water, and then I know that I have a big wiggle room to a bigger wiggle room in the evening. Okay, tons of water. Follow your meals like you normally would. So, and that means like maybe cook them in a different way. Example here, burger, barbecue. So for example, if you have ground beef on your meal plan or ground turkey on your meal plan, you can make beef, like you can make patties and create a burger and make a burger. You can make a lettuce burger, like a lettuce bun burger, delicious, or you can use the bun. It depends on how many calories you have to play with. But you can substitute it that way, right? And it tastes really awesome. It tastes really good, and it's the same. You're eating the same ground beef, but just in a different format, just in a different way, like in a patty format. Same thing with eggs. Like eggs, you can make them in 355 different ways to make eggs, right? And then the seasonings and the veggies and how you prepare is going to dictate how that meal turns out, right? Barbecue, chicken breast in the oven or chicken breast stovetop cooked is different and tastes differently than if you barbecue chicken breast. Barbecue chicken breast with asparagus and make a salad, you're good. You're good. And that was just a really tasty meal. And you're eating the same, but in a different way. Same thing for salmon, same thing for beef, for steak, for anything like that. For Greek yogurt, you can add your Greek yogurt to your smoothie instead of eating in a bowl. You can make a parfait. You can make it so many different ways, and you can mix and match your Greek yogurt with whey protein powder. And you're going to be eating the same things, but in different ways. So it's going to taste different. And remember that with my program, I like to give you guys the freedom to pick and choose whatever vegetables you prefer. So even if there are certain types of veggies in your meal plan that I specifically laid out for you, you can pick and choose the ones that you like the most. So you can do that. You can mix and match the ones that you like the most, and make it taste differently, right? Instead of eating broccoli that you normally will eat broccoli during the week, you can eat asparagus or zucchini or tomatoes and lettuce or whatever, okay? Now the last part, focus on the lifestyle that you're building. So you won't feel the need to escape from your diet if you enjoy it. So if you make your diet enjoyable during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, you really want to continue doing that, won't you? Why would you want to escape from that? Because other people feel like you need to enjoy the weekend and let loose a bit. And that let loose a bit means eating like a pig and binge drinking and binge eating. Right? So don't let what other people say that they mean by living a little and enjoying life dictate what you do. So if you are enjoying your meals, if you are enjoying your diet during the week, then just keep repeating that on the weekends. And if you're having a hard time with your meals, if you're having a hard time following your plan during the weekdays and you'd like some guidance on that, let me know. I'm here exactly for that. So don't feel bad. Ask for help, put it in a group chat, send me a one-on-one message, and we'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah. And lastly, I just want you guys to enjoy yourselves. But if you have lost a ton of weight, or if you are on the fat loss phase, just know that your body is going to be more sensitive to everything that you do. So extra calories on the weekends can add up way more quickly than when you're not in a fat loss phase, when you're not right after the fat loss phase. So just be mindful of that. Okay. And do make choices according to that. Don't go off the rails completely and go back to the person that you used to be. There's always a better choice that you can make. And yeah, lastly, the last tool that you can use on the weekends is fasting. I know that some of you have been using this very effectively, and this is something that I like to use for when I'm traveling, and sometimes on the weekends too. I will start eating. There's nothing magical about fasting. There's nothing magical about fasting, guys. So it doesn't reset your hormones. It doesn't reset your metabolism. It doesn't do any shit for your body, but it can be a strategy to help you offset a little bit of the calories that you would be eating in the morning. So you just skip the first meal and you start eating later in the day. That's all you do. That way you have a smaller window in which you're going to be eating. So technically you eat less, but you still follow the other rules to make sure that you stick to your calories and don't go off the rails. You can go off the rails even if you fast, because what matters most is how many calories you are consuming over the course of the day. And also, the last thing now, I promise, is to focus on how you want to feel on Monday. Really, how do you want to wake up on Monday? You want to wake up rushed and bloated and lethargic and feeling like you need to catch up, feeling like you should have done what you did? Or do you want to wake up like, that was good. That was a good weekend. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm ready. Let's do this. Right? So think about how you want to wake up in the morning on Monday. How do you want to show up for yourself on Monday? How do you want that future self to feel? And that will help you make better choices on the weekends as well. Let me know if you like this. And also, if you have any questions, let me know. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and see you next time.